Hello, everyone, again, and welcome to everyone who will be watching us in the recording. Today, we are here to talk about building AI literate team. So we're going to talk about challenges, formats, and learning in the age of AI. And today, you are here with me, Lena, and Leah from Rosetka. Few words about us and why we are doing this talk. My name is Lena Shakurova. I am an AI advisor and founder at Parse Labs and Chatbotly. And for the last 8 years, I've been working in the space of AI automation and conversational AI, building AI agents, voice agents, setting up AI automations. And over these 8 years, I worked as a practitioner on more than 110 commercial projects. And since recently, so the last 1 or 2 years, I also started to get trainings on those topics to give AI workshops. So I've been giving corporate trainings. I now also created 2 online courses, which I teach with other people, and I organize a lot of open webinars as well. So the topic of education is very interesting to me. And I decided to invite Leo with us, who is gonna share a different aspect of this. Leo, to you.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Leah, and I'm working in education over 7 years as a learning experience designer and tutor. And now I'm working as a product manager in educational bureau Rosetka. And our main focus is corporate education and how to make it efficient.
I'm really happy to have Leah with us today because they really focus on creating those corporate education experiences. So adding an extra layer on top of just teaching AI. Why are we talking about this topic? The world is moving really fast. New AI tools and the best practices appear every week. I don't know about you, but I personally sometimes myself find it quite overwhelming. Best practices change, what we teach to our clients change with the speed of light. We have faster development cycles, and all of this is a huge topic. And the question is, how do we learn in the age of AI where everything is moving so very fast? So today we're gonna talk about AI skills that we need in 2025. What are the challenges when you teach those skills, when you teach AI? Then we're going to share with you a 4-step learning framework on how you can integrate AI literacy into your team. And then Leah gonna share different educational formats with you and also talk about different types of people and how you can create education for different user personas. I hope that's going to be fun. Let's start with AI skills. So I think that in 2025, there are some core skills that stay the same no matter what kind of new tools appear on the market. One is understanding AI use cases, then understanding AI tools landscape. So not specific tools, but in general, what kind of categories of tools exist. Then we need to know how to train AI, so prompting, context, building workflows, and ethics of AI and responsible AI. And on top of this, a very important skill in 2025 and also before, but especially now, is having this continuous learning mindset, given that every week we get something new. And all of those skills come with certain challenges. So why is teaching AI hard? Well, one thing is, like I mentioned, the AI landscape is changing really fast. So that means that people feel overwhelmed with the amount of information. There is a lot online. You can watch YouTube videos, join courses, but how do you choose what is right, what is wrong? And on top of that, no one really knows what exactly to teach because it's not very clear what's truly correct. We are still figuring out the best way to use AI to build chatbots, to build automations. And I feel like in this field specifically, this what is truly correct or best practices is still being shaped and changes really fast. And because of this fast pace, we cannot afford to spend 3 months or more months developing an educational program. So education also needs to be fast and adaptable. On top of that, people feel resistance to change and people feel scared of being replaced by AI, which means that often AI initiatives are being sabotaged and people also sabotage education and are not willing to try new tools. Not everyone, but that's also a factor. And also using AI might look easy to people, but getting good results is actually not so easy. So what also sometimes happens is that people get quickly disappointed and skeptical about different AI frameworks and tools. Or the other way around, because it looks so easy, they get overly enthusiastic while they are not really getting good results from the tools and technology they are using. So what that means is that education also needs to be adaptable in the age where everything is moving so fast. And we need to focus on learning how to learn and building culture within our company, because no matter those changes, this will stay the same, this will stay constant. So the core principles that we suggest when building AI literacy programs in your company is one, focus on AI mindset and versus tools. So teach how to think in this framework instead of different technology, because tools change really fast. And that also means that we need to all learn the foundations of AI. So the basic things like prompt engineering, ethics, safety, responsible AI, and things like that. Then also take the problem-based learning approach. So focus on the problems that your company has instead of doing the fake exercises, and focus a lot on practice and experimentation in your learning. And do the continuous learning framework. So give resources to people and teach them how to learn on their own, so that while after you set up the education, people can take the initiative and keep experimenting on their own. We have this four-step framework to share with you, which consists of four stages. So when you are implementing the AI literacy program in your team, you can look at it as it is going through those four steps. First, you teach foundations, then you organize department-specific sessions, then you do guided experiments, and then there is empowerment, something that we call empowerment. And this whole framework is based on the idea that you start by inviting external experts to your team and explaining the best practices that they developed. And slowly through this process, you want to make it the core of your team. So you move towards building a self-sufficient, sustainable system where people keep teaching each other, people keep learning on their own, so that you no longer have to rely on external experts. So the first step is foundations. So that means that you can start with foundational company-wide session led by external experts, where you are teaching things like basics of AI, what AI is and isn't, terminology, different tools that exist, focus on different AI use cases, and teach people what AI can and what it can't, so they can learn to find opportunities in their own workflow. And then things like prompt skills and ethics of AI, responsible AI, and data privacy. So those are the skills that anyone in your company might need, regardless of the department where people are. Then we move to the second step, which is department-specific sessions. So those already focus on real-world problems that actual department is facing. So we are focusing on use cases, tools awareness, and best practices within the specific domain. So, for example, you will have separate session for marketing where you will be focusing on content ideation use cases, AI for SEO, generating ad copy, and things like that. Or you might have a session for developers where you would be focusing on AI-assisted coding or evaluating AI output and things like that. And then for different departments, you would have different topics on which you would focus. So you will lead this kind of sessions around what they are doing. And the idea here is that you take a collaborative approach. So you take the use cases from your people, and you give them the voice to decide how they want to approach their problem, and you make them feel the ownership. So it doesn't feel like you are teaching them the right way, but rather that you are showing them what's possible, but they from within come up with ideas of how they want to apply it to their own work. The step number three is what we call implementation step. So this is about guided experiments. So we are going from theory to practice, and you can organize things like AI lab day to try out new tools or experiment with different workflows, or set up regular time to come together and try out new tools on real workflows. Here, the idea is that there is already little guidance, but you do provide people with resources, so templates and example projects, so that they can take this as an example and apply it to their own work. And this step is very hands-on, so people actually get to try things. And the last step is empowerment. So this is about creating space and culture of continuous learning. So that might mean that you have internal team members do regular presentations and share knowledge. You organize internal lunch and learn sessions where, again, someone from your team is teaching AI to one another. Maybe you have a Slack channel or a AI newsletter. And here you encourage internal AI players to take initiative and spread knowledge within the team. And all of this is then focusing on how to learn. And Leah will now tell us about different ways how it can actually take shape.
Yes. Education consists of several easy formats. It's not a rocket science, to be honest, and usually we are working with pre-ready content that could be uh, already exist in huge online schools like Coursera, Udemy, or it could be a content that created with AI. To keep people remember things that they learn, it's important to have selected response practices. It's some sort of test or drag and drop mechanics, so it keeps people practicing and it play games with their memories. To create this type of tasks, you can use AI, but don't forget to create math system for evaluation and feedback and score or points. To keep people practice new skills, we use cases and projects that could be connected with their job tasks, and it will be hard to create it without experts. So here we need help of learning experience designer or content experts. To create community and break the ice a new theme, we can use one-time event or AI lunches or lectures. And here we invite in experts or event managers to organize it properly. To create a strong bond between practice and new themes and knowledge, we use hackathons, boot camps, and really hard formats. So to do that, we need an experts content or LXD created content and a lot of moderators and a huge team that will help us to create it and create a good environment. So learning how to learn, it's not an easy thing because people actually are not only sabotaging in new things, they just sabotaging sometimes the concept of learning. So to create this bond, we need at the first steps force people to learn. And only after that, when it's a habit, people starting to learn it by themselves. And if we are looking at our educational formats, we can see that there is a bond between the formats and how people learn with these formats. So only if we are doing some systematic strategy changes, it's some sort of internal steps. In all other formats, we're working with external steps. Next slide, please. I will give hints to Lena. Yeah, so we can see here that educational events or short-term courses or long-term programs, it's usually something that we force people to do. And only if we are building a strategic changes, we're doing something that will work for internal education. So, can every business afford such a learning process, like building a new team, huge team, and create a strong learning processes inside their working day-to-day tasks? Not everyone. So what we can do is to teach people, combine them in groups. So solution here is cohorts or profiles. So we can design learning paths around the role of profiles. How we can do that and what we can do with it. First of all, let's step back and understand what we want from these people. We want all of them to use AI, but in a smart way. We also want them to experiment with it, but in a safe way, but without losing enthusiasm. So it's a long and a lot of buts. So what we can do to create a small steps, but to change a team and do it properly and efficiently. We can create 4 user profiles and explore education for them. So let me introduce you for our profiles. It's Julia, Malika, Pasha, and Claudia. So Julia, she's scared and never tried. Malika, she's a beginner at AIs and she use AI but get bad results. Pasha is AI pessimist that tried but have strong opinion against AI. And Claudia, she's AI enthusiast that created a Slack channel and she posts new AI tool every day. So let me ask you a question. Do you recognize someone from your team and which role is most represented on your team? Please write us. Maybe it's a lot of Julias or a lot of Malikas or a lot of Pashas or a lot of Claudias. It would be nice to see from you and to hear from you. Oh, we have Malikas. Many Malikas. Oh, we have Claudia. Nice to meet you. Okay, okay. It's very interesting. So let's dig deeper in each of these profiles. And we will start from Julia. What we can say about Julia? Julia is scared of AI. She's a highly experienced domain expert professional. She can be HR, recruitment, back office. To be honest, it's not important in which field she works, but she highly experienced. And core concerns with her is job security, because she truly afraid of new tool and she afraid that they will replace her. So what we can do for Julia and how we can work with Julia, how we can create education solution for her. The first thing that we need to do is to build trust. So here we can work with AI lunches or something break ice event that help us to build this safety and trust. And only after that we can create some educational path for Julia. So educational product here is 3-step learning loop. It's a short content, it's practice with selected response items and feedback. So it's 5 minutes rubric-based reviews and iterate each week. How and why it's work for Julia and what we develop. We develop micro skills. So it's important for her to understand the difference in different AI tools. And it's important to build inside her mindset that AI is a tool and it doesn't scares me and I can play around it with different tasks and maybe I can find the way to do my work faster than before. And we don't expect from Julia to be an AI enthusiast because she was really afraid. She doesn't touch it in any way. And now we build some trust and now we build some tries to play with it. And that's our main goal with Julia. Why like this and how we create it? The main insight here is that we are working with a low cognitive load. So it's short role specific lessons she immediately use on familiar workflows and no abstract theory, no tool of the month churn. And it's important to create for her habit and not a marathon. She's not running anywhere. For her, I will repeat, it's important to build a trust and build a confidence and fluency without overwhelming her day. So it's 15, 20 times, 15, 20 minutes at a time, and she can work with it and she can build something and start to try it. And that will be our goal and that will be our learning success. What about Malika? I see that there are a lot of Malikas. So it's one of the popular user personality. So Malika, she's a beginner in AI, but she very creative, high enthusiastic. She likes to try new things, but she has no deep understanding if she uses tool right or wrong. So she's just amazed by any results. Like she create a prompt and it talks to her, and she's immediately feel this amazing inspiring feeling that she do something, just write a sentence. So core risks here and antipart is that it's quantity over quality, and she has no definition of done and post draft without checks. She use random prompts, no reuse, no learning. And what we can offer to her, how we can work with her, we can create this three-step learning loop, but it doesn't require us to break ice here, because what's important, she already has her enthusiasm, so we need to keep it alive. So content here is bite sized, it's short lessons, 2 5 minutes per session, and each lesson covers one concept: how to write AI prompts that fit our brand voice, or how to write AI prompts to create posts in social media, uh, day-to-day tasks, practice with immediate application of what she learned or to her daily work, and a feedback. The main part here is a feedback, because at the start Malika can't understand if she has a good result or bad result, so we need to guide her here. So why like this, and what we are developing, we develop in micro skills like prompt engineering, brand tone consistently, and fact checking. And we creating a mindset that AI is a tool to assist but not replace creativity. So we are focused on quality and using AI in a smart way. And the importance here, and how we're working with Malika here, is we try to encourage her to try and try again, but we do it manageable. We look after her, and we stay alive her enthusiasm. We show her immediate wins, and her progress is visible. So that's what she can measure. She can see her skills rising, and that's what will encourage her to try again, but do it in a smart way. The other person is Pasha, and Pasha is AI Skeptic. Who he is? He has many years of experience in IT. He highly respected in his team. He has deep technical expertise, and he has a disbelief in value. So even after testing AI, he has a strong opinion that AI doesn't add meaningful value to complex tasks like backend development or system architectures. So, what we are doing here, what we will do with Pasha, because it's a huge resistance. So, the most challenging student that we have is a Pasha, because he had this high resistance to the material. And in order for Pasha to start using AI, he needs a very clear instructions and screencast or screenshots that will show him exactly what to do and how AI can solve his tasks. So in the initial stages, if Pasha repeats what he has seen, he will develop inside him understanding that using AI to solve problems is indeed possible and time saving. So why like this, and what we can do like for create a learning experience. It's a project-based learning. It's one of the hardest learning approach. So what we do here, we create a content. We create a content only for Pashas. It requires us a lot of strength and patience. We create in a project tasks, and we create in a feedback. So the goal here is repeat after content and prove himself that AI is not something stupid. So in only after this disbelief will go on, he will see the value. And only after that, he can work with a project that will connect with his working tasks. So at first step, we need to create a content that he can repeat and it will work. So he will feel this like, wow, it's working. I was wrong, it's working. So only work side by side with AI, he will create some tool in daily basis, and he will refuse to work with his sarcastic jokes. So Why like this? Challenging time demands difficult decisions. Yet in practice, Pasha will only change his opinion on AI tool after he repeatedly apply the theoretical scenarios and observe them working across contexts. And that will build inside him habit of using them every day. And that's what we wanted from Pasha. We want him to use AI in daily basis. We don't want him to play with it like we wanted that from Julia or we wanted that from Malika. Pasha needs to get hard with it. So, the last one, Claudia, AI enthusiast. Who is she? She's a true believer in AI. She loves experimenting with new tools every day. She actively posts new AI tools in Slack channels. She encouraging others to try them. But despite passion, Claudia feels held back by companies' slow adoption of AI and their, as we told, like sabotaging. So this tension leads to disappointment and frustration. That's what we can feel, and that's what we are usually feel when we are very enthusiastic about something and we try to encourage everyone and we see results like Malika's, or we talked with Julia's, or we talked with Pasha's, and that's frustrating. So what we can do for Claudia? First of all, we save in her enthusiasm, and instead of focusing on giving her extra education, we include her directly in the educational process. So, peer learning from someone like Claudia will be more impactful than traditional training. And it's important to harnessing her expertise. We need to involve her in decision-making processes. We need to involve her in AI tool adoption and integration or strategic AI strategic company. So we need her because she understands deeply the nuances of the work and she understands deeply how AI works because she investigated all by herself. So this is the best knowledge that we can get. So we don't work with her and we don't create for her some learning paths. We encourage her and she feel valued, and we are looking for her overwhelming because it's essential that Claudia doesn't get overwhelmed by extra responsibilities because she works with Malika. She will get feedback and she will do the feedback for Malika's. But we need to be sure that she can lead AI initiatives while she's still focusing on her core technical work or all other tasks that she had in her daily basis. So, how to create all this content and don't die? First of all, as we say, for AI launches or one-time lectures, the basic knowledge, please invite experts. Bring an expert to provide credibility and a deep understanding of the topic. For content libraries, use ready-made courses. Leverage pre-existing courses from Coursera, Udemy, other educational platforms. These resources can be very helpful for you, and they have their own curriculum, and it's saving time. For personalized learning and skill development, adapt content to specific personas. Please use help of learning experience designer. For example, for Pasha, it will be very helpful to use Learning Experience Designer because he needs some very structured materials. And if we are talking to create a learning experience strong bond with practice and theory, a lot of practice, a lot of different types of practice, using the memorizing cards or something like that, you can use an educational bureau or educational company that can help you design a learning system that will accompany employees throughout their development. And to be honest, yes, the next slide. How all of this can look like in practice. Yes, how we like creating this, how we can do that in practical world. First of all, we can start with next steps, and if I remember it correctly,
My side.
Yes, gave a microphone to Lena, and she will tell you about all things that you can do.
So, if we summarize everything that Leah has just shared, here are a few simple next steps that you and your team can take. So, first is courses. So, you can start by getting your team access to different course platforms that have basic AI literacy courses as part of their learning and development budget. Then another thing that we often see is creating a Slack AI channel where different people can share their experiments, tools they are trying. So this can be a space for inspiration and to make others feel like, okay, others are excited about it. Maybe I'm also slowly getting excited about experimenting with those AI tools. Another thing is AI newsletters. So I've also heard about this from a couple of companies. So the idea here is that you create a habit building reminder about AI initiatives at your company. It can be either a weekly newsletter where different team members are encouraged to share their AI use cases, or maybe you show examples of how someone used an AI tool at their work, and then you list all the AI tools that the company already sponsors and reminds people that, hey, we have a budget for this. Or maybe in this newsletter, you remind that you have monthly events and things like that. Then talking about monthly events, that's also a simple thing you can start doing is organizing monthly AI presentations or hackathons with real use cases. So imagine people are coming together and maybe one team is sharing their experiments with AI that they did this month, or one person is sharing what they've done. This would encourage people to show up and also to experiment during this month because they would know that, okay, at the end of the month, there is something that I have to present. So let me try it out. Another thing is starting to curate a library of AI tools, use cases, and resources and tutorials. So maybe you already have AI enthusiasts and AI players in your team who already are learning on their own. Maybe ask them to start putting this together into a Notion table and make this Notion table available to other team members so that if they are curious about things, they can just go there, filter by different categories, and look through the resources that can help them with the self-learning. Because, like we mentioned, there are lots of materials. It's hard to get started. It can be overwhelming. So it's good to have a point where you can start. And then we can also introduce AI budget if you don't have that already. So basically give free budget to different AI tools. So if people take initiative and they say, I want to try this, that the company can sponsor that. And the last point here is assign an internal AI evangelist or a few people who will be responsible for the AI department and will be available to help teams who need help. So either they will be helping you with organizing monthly events, or maybe it will be helping teams who have an idea of AI automation they want to implement, that they know that, okay, this person is available and I can come to them and ask for help if I need. So make that clear. Um, and few more things. So you can also invite an AI expert for short form content. So it can be a 1 hour AI lunch to inspire your team on a certain topic. So let's say something for marketing team or customer support team. It can be a long custom automation, AI automation training, or a longer 2 day workshop where you work together with the use cases from your company, and then you let the AI expert experiment together with your team and collaboratively come up with a new AI project. And if any of the AI expert things is interesting for you, then also my team at Parse Labs offers those kind of AI lunches and 2 day, 3 day workshops. And you can also do this, Leah, to you.
Yes. So, to be honest, without measurement, impact remains unclear. And especially in a big teams and in a big companies, we always think how to create education that will make some change. So it's important to make a few steps. Before you start education, you need to understand which level of skills your team already have. So you need to assess it. Only after that, you will create a current problem solving approach, actual AI tool usage, and only after you will create the barriers and fears. And this a comprehensive assessment, it will clear for you how your team feels right now, how it feels right now, and what actually you need to fix, like with this learning paths. So it's not an easy job. To be honest, a lot of learning experience designer works on creating a really quality assessments because it's really not easy to explore how people use some things, because one time they use one thing, another time they use other things, and how it connected with their knowledge. So it's a deep learning process and deep cognitive process. That's why it's important to use experts help here. So if you want have this competency metrics, baseline measurement, individual learning passes, product design, and post-training results measurement, like all chain, you highly recommended to call help of educational bureau or someone who had a deep expertise in learning experience. Um, I think.
And for that you can always call Rosetka Educational Bureau team because that's exactly what they do. A couple of people in the recent weeks when I was exploring this topic, they asked, "Oh, but how do we assess if the education works?" So Educational Bureau does this assessment for you. And yeah, just to sum up and wrap up before we go to questions. AI literacy is hard because AI skills change very often. So the idea is that we focus on developing a mindset and habits of continuous learning instead of focusing on the tools. Now we also learned about for different personas, and I hope you now understand that different learning formats would work for different people. So you need to take that into account as well when you create your educational projects, because content for one personality, and a good thing here is that content for one personality type can be reused for another. So even if we have those for different personas, there are a lot of overlaps still. So this is a good news. You can make use of that. And the main takeaway is trying to create culture of experimentation and teaching people how to learn and encouraging your AI players to spread the knowledge and share with one another. And if you want to stay in touch with us, here is the QR code for Rosetka and QR code for my LinkedIn. Thank you everyone for joining us on this topic today. And yeah, have a nice evening, everyone.